People, morning. It is a bright and sunny morning here in Trinidad and Tobago. I am up at the crack of dawn. Whew. Here now, the day now starts and I already have to dodge the grass truck, the gas van passing, people pulling up in front of my house. They didn't even call first. I don't know, like they never heard about calling first before they reach. Take a breath, Trent. Anyway, I know you probably say, Trent, don't tell me you come back to talk about Mariah again. Trent, we had enough, but I understand. So what I am doing, because I myself feel all Mariah out, I am putting the Mariah retrospective series on pause. We will come back to it. But in this video, I really want to talk about one of the highlights of this very rocky year. Welcome to this new episode of Trini Trent TV, where we talk about the artists, the hits, the songs, the eras, and of course the albums that we love, the pop music that really helps to define our lives. And one of those albums is none other than Ari Lennox's Shea Butter Baby. Now I know somebody going to say, Trent, it is Shea, it is not Shea. But I have been saying Shea since some of you have been in Pampers. So it is Shea Butter Baby. So what we're going to be discussing is, who is Ari Lennox, how I discovered her. We're going to dive into the Shea Butter Baby album. We're going to talk about how it was received and in some cases snubbed. And of course, we're going to talk about our favorite tracks. Ari Lennox is an R&B soul singer-songwriter who has been, she's had some buzz online for quite some time, I've actually heard her voice here and there, but never really tuned in, never really paid much attention. But she has been gaining buzz for years. And then once she got signed to J. Cole's Dreamville Records, I think this was back in 2015, she got signed, everything took off. Now, my friends have been telling me to listen to Ari Lennox now for about 2, maybe 3 years. But I was very reluctant. I was very hesitant to get into her. And the reason for that is because, I don't really connect all the time to the newer generation of pop, R&B, hip-hop artists. I tend to be very much disconnected. And that's because I'm not in the flow of social media and that conversation. So I don't always know what the slang and the references that they make. And then, of course, I can't always connect to the themes of their music. Or sometimes the theme is something that I've heard before, over and over. And so many of them sound alike. So many of them do the same speech level type of talk singing. There's like a slur type of singing, a mumbling almost over a very trap and beat type of production. Now, although I like that in doses, I tend not to dive headfirst into new talent because I realize that there tends to be a lot of the same. And that's not me insulting. That's just me saying it's not always for me. And they're really making music for the new generation and for people who are open and willing to listen to that. So I was very resistant and reluctant to get into her. But then one day the universe stepped in. One day the universe said, Trent, you're going to listen to the girl. I was bored. This was early in the COVID experience. This was like early April. I think it was like the first week of April. And I sat down on YouTube and I had nothing to do. It was a weekend. I think it was like a weekend or sometime in the week. I can't even remember. First I lose track of time in the whole pandemic experience. I sat down and I just pulled up YouTube and the first thing that came into my face, smack dab in the middle of the suggested section, was this video for a song called BUSSIT. Brand new, world premiere. And I say, BUSSIT. Now that caught my attention. Because even though you all know I listen to Mariah and I listen to all my divas and I listen to my soca and I dancing and singing and jogging around the savannah, people think that that's all I listen to. But what they'll be very surprised to know is that there's a very different side of me if you really get to know me. But to my surprise, it really wasn't just what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a little ratchet song. I could bop along for, a few minutes and then be over it. But when I opened it, now first I actually had it on mute. I had it on mute because I said if it's more talk singing, let me just enjoy the visuals and pretend I know they have a song behind it. But when I opened the song and I looked at the video, what I saw was a celebration of Black femininity. I saw all these vibrant, rich colors. I saw Black women of all these different shades and shapes dancing and singing and enjoying each other's company and in a safe space in this hair salon. And I was like, what is this? Everything that they were wearing, it looked like House of Darion, Tina Knowles, early 2000s style of dress. And I said, this is something. This is really pulling me in. And as I started to watch it, I said, okay, let me restart the video and put it on loud. Somebody flush the toilet, ignore that. Let me put it on loud so I could actually hear what they're saying. And I started to hear the song. And from the opening note when Ari Lennox started to sing, I was captivated. So I became an instant fan. And I said, okay, who is this girl? Why am I late to the party? I need to get involved in everything I could find. So I raced over to iTunes to download some music. Yes, I still download music. I know I'm giving away my age by saying that. But I do not stream music. I download music. Why do I download music? Well, I live in a developing country. And current does go often, as in power. Cuts off often, and then sometimes the data might drop or the Wi-Fi not working, the internet gone in the whole area. I like to know that at the very least, I still have my music. When I go for my little run, I'm not struggling to stream because it's telling me no signal, and I'm not sitting up in the middle of the savannah looking lost like a little child, and I have to run and only listen to my own breath. You understand? I like to have my music at my fingertips. So I went on iTunes and I just started downloading everything. I started downloading all of her songs. I started downloading all of these singles. I downloaded the 4 EP that she released back in 2016. And of course, I downloaded the album, Shea Butter Baby. And as I started to really dive deeper into just Shea Butter Baby, and I just listened to that album alone, I realized that she was really singing about the Black female experience. She was singing about her experience as a Black woman. And I wanted to find out more, what informed this? What really moved her to sing just so frankly and directly to her own experience as a Black woman? Because, normally artists would touch on little topics, but then, of course, they would try to keep it pop. They would try to make more, generic songs that could appeal to just anybody. But she was speaking directly to her own experience as a Black woman. So I went and I pulled up some interviews, and I found a really interesting chat that she did with Elliot Wilson on a show called Car Test for Tidal on YouTube. And I pulled it up and I really got into it. Here now, I'll drop my cue card. 1 second. All right, I'm back, I'm in focus. Okay, I have a cue card with a quote where she spoke about what really informed the album. She said, I just feel like Black women get slept on a lot and people don't recognize our greatness, like in our curls, in our chocolate skin. Every shade of chocolate is so important and so rich and glorious, and people be sleeping on us. I was like, nah, this is for us and you're gonna respect it. You're gonna love it. Yes. Trent said gone. I heard that quote and I said, okay, I rock with this girl because of the fact that she is just so blatantly saying, this is who I am. This is who I want to connect to. This is who I'm singing for. And I'm doing so unapologetically. However, what made me really connect to the album was the fact that she didn't just speak to her surface experience of being a Black woman. She didn't just talk about love and relationships or the simple topics that most people tend to want to tackle, although love and relationships really not that simple. Hello. But what really helped me to connect it was the fact that she was talking to her intersectional identity, her intersectional reality. And she was talking about not just being a Black woman, but she's speaking about being a Black young adult. She was speaking about somebody who was finding herself and really stepping into her own. And that was how I was able to really connect to the music. You see, Shea Butter Baby is really an album of self-discovery. It's about stepping into your truth and you're becoming more aware of your emotional self. It's about coming to terms with your financial responsibility and even expressing your sexuality and sensuality in a free and unbridled way. You see, it's a coming of age record. When you listen to a song like New Apartment, you hear a young adult really finding and defining her own space. And then we go across a song like Broke and she's learning empathy. She's saying, she's with someone and they aren't really financially well off. They aren't rich and they aren't really making a lot of money. But she sees past all of that for the person that they are. That's a sense of maturity. That's you really stepping in to understanding there's more to relationship than things. And throughout the record, even in her sexual moments, we find her really, navigating this tension. Navigating the tension that all of us really understand. That tension between vulnerability and full empowerment. Like when you listen to a song like Pop, she's at her most vulnerable. She's saying, if I give myself to you, if I allow you to have me, and I'm not going to say the lyrics, it's real adult, that's why I love this record. When she's talking about how she can give herself to a man, she's saying, if I give myself to you, Will you accept me? Will you take me? Will you want me to be yours? It's a song where she's being her most vulnerable as a black woman. And then we go across a song like FaceTime, and she's bold. She's empowered. She's saying, listen, we're doing all this freaky stuff on FaceTime. We're doing all this freaky stuff through the camera. But if you show up here, can you really do what you say you're going to do? And the way she sings it is just so beautiful. You know, Ari Lennox has a type of voice and a type of singing style that it just demands the accompaniment of live instrumentation. And when I pulled up a lot of these songs live, like I wanted to see her sing them live, and I saw her perform at the Blue Note, like she performed a song called Up Late with Masego, who had produced the track at Blue Note on her Vivo channel. And I started to pull up all these other performances, like on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, etc. It just takes everything to another level, because the live instrumentation with that tone of her voice, when you put brass especially, like a trumpet, or you put a saxophone near her voice, it does something else. And even on the album, when you listen to a song like Chicago Boy and you hear that brass come in early on in the record, you know you're listening to something really magical. Now, Shea Butter Baby got a lot of praise from the critics. We're talking about the reception of the album here. It was received so warmly, and people were very excited by this record. Now, it wasn't a huge commercial success, but amongst the critics, it became the baby, it became the darling of the year, 2019. And I really understand why they love it, because we heard somebody who was really putting her heart and her soul into this music and wrote so honestly, sang so beautifully, and was really guided and given a lot of structure and foundation by producers who understood the talent that they had. They didn't just slap a beat on her voice. She wrote to the beat, and they really created an environment for her to flourish. But the album wasn't really fully accepted. As a matter of fact, it got snubbed by, I would say, a place where I thought it would have been a standout. It would have been the big winner. And that's at the Soul Train Awards. As a matter of fact, it was nominated. She was nominated for 3 awards in 2019, and she won none. She was even nominated for Album of the Year for Shea Butter Baby, and it didn't win. Actually, I think Lizzo won that year. And Ari felt very hurt, and she actually wanted to quit music. She actually went on a bit of a Twitter watching somebody walking outside and smoking and drinking this hour of the morning. Hey, no, it's not even 7 o'clock yet, but then I am not one to judge. She got online and she literally said, I'm done. She went on a tantrum, and the tweets, which are now deleted, were captured by the folks over on wrapup.com. And in some of them, she said this. I have more quotes for you. It's not just an award. It wasn't any award show. It was the Soul Train Awards. As you can see, I'm a big fan of soul music, a huge fan of Soul Train's history. Every time I wrap my mind around it, I can't accept it. I made a soulful album. I never ran from who I am. I just expected that one platform to understand that. It's clear I'm not cool enough, not trendy enough, and I don't care to be. I don't strive for that. Now, when I was sitting down thinking, what was one thing I would change about this album? What would be one thing that I think she could have done differently? I realized that I was trying to do exactly what she didn't want. She didn't want people to really mold her and shape her into something else. And I don't want to be a part of that. And, seeing this outburst online and the many outbursts that she has on, I wouldn't call them outbursts, the really transparent moments that she has on Instagram Live and on Twitter, I realize that that's what makes Ari Lennox the artist that she is. She allows herself to be vulnerable. She allows herself to be honest. And she just speaks freely from who she is. So I understand why she did it. You put this music out and it's true to you. And when you put yourself into something and you hope that somebody's going to love it, and you know that they love it, but they don't acknowledge it the way that you want them to, it feels that it's not that the album didn't get acknowledged and accepted. It feels that you or she didn't get acknowledged and accepted. And I understand that feeling. So I'm not actually annoyed or disappointed with the fact that she spoke out. As a matter of fact, who am I to be? She's allowed to share her experience. And you see, that goes back to the roots of the album. She's allowed to share her experience as a Black woman and be honest, open, and free. And it opened a conversation to how we acknowledge and celebrate Black music in 2019. So what are my favorite songs on Shea Butter Baby? Now, first, I would say This was a very tricky thing, because I love the whole album. I literally start the album from track 1 and I let it play all the way to the end and it starts over and I'm still vibing. But I had to pick 5 awesome songs. You all know I love my awesome songs. I had to pick 5 awesome songs. So that way, if you are a new person to Ari Lennox or you're a fan and you just want to know what I like, this will give you a sense of where to start. I would start off with, and this is in no particular order, I would start off with the title track. That's Shea Butter Baby. When I listened to that record with J. Cole, it has a throb in the production. It's like a throbbing type of beat. It almost puts you in a trance. And when I watch a video, it actually did that. She was putting the man into a trance. You know, this is when she really stepped up in the fullness of her black power as a black woman. And she said, this is who I am, and you're going to get lost in the shape of my hips. It was something just so captivating and powerful. Another song that I love is Static, because she's singing about her experiences with anxiety disorder. And as somebody who has a personal experience with that, I felt that it was so honest, it was so pure. And I find myself sometimes when I'm driving or sometimes when I'm really feeling a little overwhelmed and my filter just feels like I need a break, I find myself humming that song because it really helps me to feel grounded and to really embrace and love myself through it all. The third song that I love is New Apartment. When I tell you I love this song, because of the way she sings it. She sings it with a vibrancy, with her honesty, with her swag, with her grit. You know, at the end when she's like, get the F out, with just everything about that, it really connects to me. And especially since I lived that, y'all know when I lived in New York and I used to fight with the mouse in my first apartment. Just living in that space, it takes me back to that feeling of independence and freedom and being a young adult stepping into my own. The fourth song that I would really highly suggest, a song that I love, is Chicago Boy. I just love the storytelling. I love the way that she put this record together because she's letting you know the story of an event that actually did happen. And I love when artists take me on that type of ride because it helps me to get lost in the story and even put my own faces to the characters involved. And finally, we have Whipped Cream. Now, I'm going to be honest. I said I wasn't ranking these songs, but if I had to pick one song, oh my gosh, I look so bright. Anyway, it's morning. If I had to pick one song, I would say for anybody to listen to really understand why I love this album, listen to Whipped Cream. The beat, the way she glides over it. It's a groove. It's one of those songs that captures an emotion and a mood. You know, I always say artists today, they mostly sing to a mood. They mostly sing to a vibe. Is that very much in the school of Janet Jackson and Aaliyah? However, she also knows how to speak to an emotion, very much in the way that a Mary J. Blige or even a Mariah would do it. So she brings these two worlds together so perfectly on this album, and it really is depicted on Whipped Cream. And of course, once you listen to the lyrics, let me just read these lyrics to you folks. This is Whipped Cream from Shea Butter Baby. I've been in my fields. I've been stacking bills, online shopping and robbing my chance of surviving. I'm late on rent. What was I thinking? I'm gonna go to the gym, squat real low for a man. Round you it revolves. I can't shake it off. Unrequited, admit it. You were never mine at all. Thank you for watching this episode of Trini Trent TV. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed this album. If you have never listened to it, go and find the tracks on YouTube. I'm sure most of them are there. Go and find it on your favorite streaming service, or if you're all like me, download it on iTunes and give the music a chance. Listen to it and then come back and let me know what were your favorite songs. What are the songs that you really connected to? If you've already heard the album, what are the songs that you really love? Do you agree with my top picks? Let's have a conversation and let's enjoy the music together. Anyway, I said this wasn't going to be long and it ended up being long. Here now. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time. Later.